This week, Ubisoft cancels Immortals Phoenix Rising sequel, Tencent's Techland stake is shown, and the PlayStation 5 Pro Project Trinity rumors abound, and so much more, because this is the NerdCave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dites, joined along with, there is a delightfully quirky dragon who specializes in crafting magic teas. With vibrant scales and shimmering like a kaleidoscope, he roams the enchanted forest in search for rare ingredients to concoct his mystical brews. From his cozy den, nestled in a hollowed-out tree trunk, he stirs his cauldron, infusing his teas with enchantments. Each cup holds a unique surprise, like possessing the power to transform the drinker's appearance, or invoking a vivid dream, or even grant the ability to speak with animals. Come, enjoy a steaming cup of laughter-inducing giggle tea with Fizzle Wings, the tea dragon, and have a delightful adventure.
Very sophisticated, very proper. I said, I
Pinky
got
out.
hints of
Pinky
what?
out. Pinky out.
My bad. I got hints of Harry Potter mixed with My Hero Academia a little bit.
Okay.
So with the different, so very sophisticated. Now, where does this rank?
I don't know,
So,
Derek. Where does it rank?
So as always, this is going to be our 22nd name, sir. 22nd.
Wow.
We'll be, we're almost, minus the weeks we've had to miss, we're almost halfway, a half a year's worth of names. So let's look at the top 10. We got Captain Faxon, the Merciless Blackwood, Drag Heron, the Horde Destroyer, the Grove of Light Balro Wraithry, President Desmond Cyrus Alizon III, Sheriff Steelheart, Saris Ulthura, the Secret Keeper, Combat Master Vexar Skirata, Talolokan, the Sun God King, Thorod Rygason, the Warrior King, and Galrinth, Bringer of Death. So, I don't think it's top 5.
Okay. Is it top 10?
That's what I'm deciding, because because the thing that hurts it is, granted, yes, I again, good exposition definitely makes or breaks, but the name has to sell it. A little long in the tooth. Just a tad long in the tooth here for the description. However, I still think it's good enough to be in, just because of the mystique, the magic, the sophistication, and I want a good variety in the time. I don't want it all to be like serious death, warrior, It's going to be the new number 10.
No, okay. Well, congratulations. Fizzle Wings. Now, Fizzle Wings, I have to talk to you about Derek real quick.
Okay.
Derek loves the strong, empowering names, clearly.
Right.
But Fizzle Wings, I'm glad that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, people got to know that Derek is not just, destroyer, a secret keeper, a sun god, an emperor, this, that, and the other, a gunslinger. Sometimes he's a little bitty dragon.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's okay. I just like the simpler things in life.
Yeah.
There's different types of anime. There's slice of life, sometimes that involves, there's literally an anime called Dragon Goes House Hunting.
Well, there you go. There you go. But guys, this episode of the Nerd Cave News is brought to you by Coffee Brand Coffee and our wonderful patrons. But more about that later, because it's time for the gaming discussion this week. First up, Ubisoft has reportedly canceled Immortals Phoenix Rising sequel.
What? A new report from VGC claims that Ubisoft has canceled a previously planned sequel to its Greek mythology-infused Immortals Phoenix Rising title. It was only last year that we heard a sequel to Phoenix Rising was in the works, and there were rumblings shortly after that it would be more of a spin-off-like title that would be Polynesian-themed. Now, however, it does not seem that title will be happening at all if VGC's, quote, development sources are to be believed. While the canceling of a new title of the same ilk as Immortals Phoenix Rising might be disappointing for fans, it makes more sense when put in the context of what's changed at Ubisoft since the first game's release. Mainly the fact that Ubisoft has since pivoted to focusing on its biggest franchise like franchises like Assassin's Creed and putting its resources into those IPs rather than trying to build new or untested titles. According to VGC sources, the plans for a Phoenix Rising sequel were first put into the danger zone when the shift towards Assassin's Creed and its other big franchises. Been an update since. Ubisoft has issued the following statement to VGC. As part of our global strategy, we are redirecting and reallocating some creative teams and resources within the Quebec studio to other unannounced projects. The expertise and technologies these teams developed will serve as an accelerator for the development of those key projects focused on our biggest brands. We have nothing further to share at this time. So, I didn't play Immortals Phoenix Rising. I know you
Mm,
did.
yeah.
I know you didn't finish it from
No.
what I remember, but I know you enjoyed what you did play and that there was like definitely something there that they
Hmm.
could move forward with. Hearing this and seeing that, thanks to the Singapore government, Skull and Bones is one of the few games that have not been canceled,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But this reminds me of Activision with them having other studios and not closing them, but folding them into their
Hmm.
big studios to just work on Call of Duty. They're full bore on Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. And now it seems like Ubisoft is making this pivot with Assassin's Creed. Sure, there's going to be other franchises because they're a huge company. They have the resources to make other titles.
Yeah.
And because there's other fan bases that are big enough, like with Rainbow Six Siege and everything like that. That this feels like they're doing the same thing, just having everyone stop what they're doing and try to help focus in on Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, and I know we talked about the development of the new Assassin's Creed games. They're literally pulling from all of
Yeah.
the different developers and everything. And I think even the Star
Mhm.
Wars game is getting that same treatment. That there a
Yeah.
lot of them are working on it. I think they are in crisis mode. And I know
Yep.
we've talked about Yves. It's like, hey, it's your job to make us successful. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is poor planning, poor management, where they
Mhm.
are in this crunch period. And fear does a lot of things to a person, and
Yep.
fear will have these pain points where it's like money's tight. We got to make cuts to these things. Okay, where's somewhere we're not making a ton of money? Immortals.
Right.
Okay, well, let's cut it, which stinks. Which
Yeah,
stinks.
because there's good ideas. That's what they canceled the UbiArt projects as Child of Light. Uh
Mhm.
I know we got a sequel to it. What was it? Valiant Hearts. I know we got
Yep.
eventually a sequel to it, but still, how many years did that take between the first one? So, those were good projects that they could have done something with, and they're just like, can it?
Yeah. And they're comparing Phoenix Rising, Immortals Phoenix Rising. I was
Mhm.
reading IGN's report to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like during the same
Yeah.
period of time. It's like it didn't sell as well. It's like Assassin's Creed has been around since like 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
It has been around that long. It is a well
The
established
first one was
IP.
a timed exclusive to Xbox 360.
Yeah. And it's like comparing these twos as apple and oranges. Also, like it is totally different style of game. It does have some of the open world things that the newer Assassin's Creed had, but it
Yeah.
had more of the humor that of like Fable. It felt more
Mhm.
like Breath of the Wild. And it had like the more quirky, Greek humor, Greek or
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, the Greek mythology, but they were putting in this like comedic lens, which is
Yeah.
not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it was something interesting and something different. I understand when you have to make cuts, you're going to make cuts to the places that aren't making a lot of money. Same thing with another company that we'll talk about later. It's like they're looking, and this is all across tech and game development.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, what are you working on? Oh, it's not making us any money. All
Yeah.
right,
You need to cut it.
they're the ones that are going to get cut, or their things going to get scrapped, just like Media
Yeah.
Molecule, getting rained in on Dreams and everything.
Yep.
I hate this because I really was interested in seeing what they could do with a second time at bat. But
Yes.
to Amy's point, she said, why are they doing more Assassin's Creed? Has it really done that well? And
Yes and no.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, is what the
Yep.
word says. And I think it's interesting because it's like we got Burnout with Assassin's Creed not too
Yep.
long ago. It hasn't, like, maybe 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
if that. And
Yeah, because it's ebbed and flowed. Like it went from an annual release. Everyone got burned on it because they were doing huge open world games that just kept getting bigger and bigger. They first cut it off after Syndicate, took a couple years off, revamped it to more of an RPG, super
mhm,
open world with Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, and they kind of staggered the release, but then people got burnt out on these huge open world games that they could never finish. I know it's in the quick hits, but they came out to reiterate and say, because that first huge gameplay
yeah,
trailer we saw of Outlaws, where you could actually fly into the space and do
mhm,
battles at real time. People were worried, it's like, oh, is this going to be just another like Starfield clone, but it's going to take thousands of hours for me to do
yeah,
everything. And Ubisoft came out and is like, no, we're not doing a 200 to 300-hour unfinishable RPG. So they're listening to that. That's why they're going back to the drawing board with Mirage. And they're still going to do one with Codename Red, is going to be the last. We talked about it a few weeks ago, being the last of the Origins formula. But still, like, they're just trying to figure out, they're trying to keep up with the trends of what gamers want so they can still make Assassin's Creed relevant so it doesn't die off.
yeah. A Syndicate 2015, they took 2 years off. 2017 is when Origins came out. And Origins
Hmm.
was cool. It was a nice breath of fresh air. I know
Yep,
you really liked Odyssey.
for sure.
You played the mess out of it. And once like we got to Valhalla, it was like, okay, this formula is already old. And
Yep.
I think there's a lot of opportunities story-wise that can be done in the Assassin's Creed world, but Ubisoft is going so heavy
Yep.
with Assassin's Creed. It is going to turn into what Disney is suffering right now is
Yep.
they have just flooded the market with Marvel and Star Wars. And
Hmm.
when supply increases, guess what happens, Derek? Demand
Demand lowers.
decreases. And that's just
Yeah.
literally how it works. Supply and demand. It's like
Yeah.
when there's not a lot of gas, guess what? Prices go up. When there's a lot of
Yep.
gas, prices go down, you know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what we're going to see is people are going to get burnout, even if there's different versions. We get Mirage, which is more of the old school. We get,
Yep.
like you can have all of that, but it's still Assassin's Creed. And a lot of
Yep.
people are already burnt out on Assassin's Creed. And I
Yep.
know Murdoch somewhere, out in the wings right now. He probably is not watching at the moment, but he'll watch back later on. Skull and Bones has an interesting idea, but
Yeah.
them actually executing it and getting it out is my only concern because
Yeah.
again, they are only focused on Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws,
Hmm.
but like they're not really doing anything else at Ubisoft
No, I
right
mean,
now.
yeah, they have the Avatar game, but that looked kind of lackluster to me. Like the gameplay and the open
Yeah,
world and like the new story in that, because I never saw the second
I haven't
movie,
watched it
but
either.
um, just a different take on the Avatar world
Yeah.
is the only thing that's interesting. The gameplay, I mean, it did nothing for me.
No, it looked like a Far Cry skin, and Far Cry
Yeah.
has been a far cry from what it was, in 3.
I know 6 picked it up a little bit, but yeah, since 3, it's 3 is still top dog to this day.
Oh yeah, 3 is amazing, and then you get Blood Dragon, which was so fun.
Yeah,
It was like
exactly.
that zaniness and everything, and then it just
That was the fun Ubisoft time
yeah,
before Vivendi and, everyone else tried to buy them.
yeah, and we get a Just Dance every year. My God, Just
Somehow.
Dance. It's like
Just dance away.
yeah, and then Rabbids, always Rabbids. It feels like they don't know what to push. They've got
Yeah.
it's like this is our established IP. We're just going to keep doing it, and
Yeah.
it's not working. It's not working.
Though I will say the new Prince of Persia does look promising.
That is the only thing that looks promising other than
Yeah.
Outlaws.
Yeah.
So yeah. Amy says, I haven't even thought about the basic supply and demand with the whole sequel overproduction. It's so true though. Yeah.
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 So I have another question. This just popped in my head because they have very few else that they're working on. Of course,
Mm,
they're trying to still keep making Tom Clancy games relevant, but they're trying to make it live service, and so far that's not taking off.
yeah.
Are you now? Granted, yes, we got in a random reveal that they are doing a Splinter Cell remake, even though for years they kept teasing, "Oh, we just gotta find the right person, the right time frame." Are you worried that Splinter Cell remake is going to be like Skull and Bones and slash what's that game that Oh, Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's gonna be like that, and it's just gonna take forever before we even like see the light of day.
I don't think they're even making a game. They're just using that as this bandying
Holdover.
stick. That yeah, this like, oh look at the shiny thing, look at the shiny thing, and then you get hit in the
Yeah.
head with a stick, and then
Yeah.
you wake up and you're over a fire getting pit roasted. That's
Yeah.
what it feels like with Ubisoft. Like Rainbow Six did well, then Siege as did well, Extraction did not.
Yeah.
Aren't they the ones doing that X Defiant game? Is that
Yeah.
Ubisoft? Okay.
Yeah, that's Ubisoft, yeah.
I'm
Because it's Tom
curious.
Clancy's X Defiant.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that's got any legs. But I feel like maybe the Division, but the Division's not that big either. Like it does okay.
Sadly not. I want it to be because I did enjoy what I played of 2, because 1 set up a good concept,
Yeah.
2 established on what I wanted more out of it, but it just I don't know, it just didn't capture players because and that's again years ago. That's why they had the sit down where they pretty much berated Eves at an investor meeting, be
Yeah.
like, why do you keep releasing sequels right before our new console cycle?
Yeah. And I loved Ghost Recon back in the day. Like
Yeah,
Ghost Recon
Wildlands was great.
Yeah. And even like the older Ghost Recons on like the 360 and all of that were really, really
Future
cool.
Soldier.
Yeah. But like what they've been putting out now,
Yeah.
nah, dog.
Breakpoint. That was their breaking point.